Hello everybody, and Jess here, and welcome back to Ooyukiumi no Kaina, Kaina of the Great Snow Sea, episode 6. Today's episode marks the halfway point of the season, and it kinda does feel like it, so it makes sense that this would be the halfway point. We now... How should I say it? The episodes so far, for the most part, I guess, were kind of introductory. We were being introduced to the world, we were being introduced to the characters. Now it seems the entire cast is here, including the Admiral of Valgia. So now we can start fully in earnest telling the stories that need to be told. And the story we're starting with is freeing Liliha. Because she has been, of course, captured back in episode 4, was it? I think around that, if not earlier. No, episode 4 is when she was captured. And now it's time for war, perhaps, probably, between Valgia and Atland. Because Atland sending their messenger didn't go that well. The messenger was killed, his entourage was killed, and only their corpses will be sent back strapped to the backs of snow horses, snow steeds, or whatever they call those dolphin-looking things. So war it is. Now, thankfully, Liliha was about to also be executed, but she wasn't. I wonder why exactly. Probably thanks to Amelothe. That would be my guess. Amelothe maybe not standing up to her, but saying, hey, yo, we could use her. She knows that sage kind of person, and that guy is from up there from the canopy, and you, dear Admiral, are so interested in the rare things. Well, what's more rare than an inhabitant of the canopy, right? So let's use the Liliha as the bait, so we can capture the sage's apprentice. And that will give them a chance, second chance to free Liliha, because they were late. Because of all their underwater adventures, which also were an interesting part of the previous episode. I'm gonna be honest. The fact that the dartfish, I'm just gonna call them dartfish, are either tiny little creatures that swim around in huge swarms, or they are those like big, huge, whale-sized monsters. That tells me there's something interesting about them, something not quite right. My first instinct says they're not entirely biological, or they are a result of bioengineering. The same goes for the trees, right? Bioengineered things that serve a purpose. And perhaps the dartfish have some role in the upkeep of the roots, or protecting some facilities underwater, or something along those lines. I don't know. But they, just like the trees, seem purpose-made, to me at least. The fact that they have radial symmetry is also interesting. The other theory is, of course, that they are the original creatures of this planet. It's not Earth, it's some planet that humans try to colonize, try to terraform, and the trees were their attempt at terraforming it, but something went tits up, as it is usually the case in stories like that, and the planet not only didn't become habitable, but became uninhabitable. I mean, okay, I guess it is habitable to a degree, there is water, there is oxygen, so perhaps to some degree their terraforming efforts have paid off, but not necessarily. I mean, it is still a deaf world. Let's make no mistake. It's a deaf world, and it's dying. So a dying deaf world probably not a planet you want to be on. What else? We saw a little bit more writing. Those like skewed 45-degree kanji looking characters. And someone on Reddit, I believe, did translate them because they are actual kanji. And I think it read like Ooyukiumi, like Great Snow Sea, something. Mostly unreadable, so maybe Great Snow Sea research base, Great Snow Sea program, Great Snow Sea, I don't know, something, right? Like a program named Great Snow Sea as a plan of making this planet habitable. Maybe this planet was super arid and super hot, and thus the Great Snow Sea program was conceived to lower the temperature of the planet. And that's why it's so cold, because the program overstayed its welcome. It went past the point of terraforming into unterraforming it. I'm reminded of Venus in Warframe, which is a super hot planet, but was terraformed into an ice planet because of solar reflectors in the orbit and coolant flowing through the rivers. Very interesting concept. I love the world of Warframe, and this is giving me the same vibes. Something going tits up with terraforming attempts. Of course, we also got the visit from the light spirit guide kind of thing twice. Once when Kaina was trying to when he stopped at the writing, didn't read it. And the second time when Kaina noticed that Liliha is still alive and that they can potentially save her. And of course, we also have some, I think, pretty well established by now differences, physiological differences between people of the canopy and people of the snow sea, right? Kaina can see further, has better stamina, better oxygen efficiency. So that's interesting. I love how this world, or rather, the stories in this world are very small, right? Like, it's just a couple of people, couple of small cities, nations, barely, you can barely call it nations, but the scale is planetary. That's great. And I want more. I want more, of course, so let's not dwindle. Let's not dawdle. Maybe one more thing, my predictions for today's episode. Either we save Liliha, perhaps thanks to the help of the spirit guide, or Kaina and Yaona get captured together with Liliha, and maybe Kaina is able to read some signs that that the Admiral has in his stash of curios, and that has some implications. I don't know. Would be interesting. Would be super fucking interesting if it was Valgia who were to help us. Help Kaina and Yaona and Liliha. Right? Like, Valgians have the ships so they can move. And if they have in their stash some, I don't know, maybe a key with instructions where that key goes, and you can use this key to unfuck the world. And the Admiral's like, you know what? It would actually be nice having some fucking water. Like, I like war. I like killing, don't get me wrong. But having the option to, like, have a safe harbor, that'd be kind of cool, so we're gonna help you. That'd be interesting. That'd be super interesting. But yeah, whether it happens or not, we'll see. And to see, of course, you will need your subs to follow along. I'm gonna need my sound to hear what's going on, because the music is great in this series, of course. And I'm gonna have to ask you for your support. Support the channel if you want monetarily on Patreon, Throne, etc. Links in the description below. And if you don't want to spend any money whatsoever, share my content, spread the word, costs you nothing, helps a lot. And with all of that out of the way, we can start watching episode 6 of Ooyukiumi no Kaina in 3, 2, 1, Go. Okay, a flashback to a previous war, I'm assuming. Valge versus the nation of Aquoili. Right, we also heard about the Ascender, which might be the giant robot from the opening. After every episode, I watch the opening and I notice new detail in it that I completely disregarded before when just watching the opening, but suddenly they gain meaning. Or I believe they gain meaning. Yeah, the fallen trees. I think that's the place where they took Liliha for the exchange. Like, bouncing that snowball is... It's clear that it's not snow. But initially we don't know that, and we laugh at, haha, garbage CG snow. They can't even make snow. But the opening tells us, hey, it's not snow. The kid is bouncing it. These sparkles coming out of their mouths, not bubbles. Right? And those symbols. Earlier we saw snow falling up in the canopy. We know canopy is above the clouds. It's all in the opening. It's all in the opening. But you don't see that until you notice that in the show proper. Look how slow it's falling. To look at her? What's that? Okay, flashback. Omae wa mou shindeiru. Okay, what do you mean, my guy? You're weird. And yeah, Amelote very much doesn't like it. Oh, so they want to use the Liliha to elicit surrender. Well, elicit is the wrong word to use here, probably, but... So, Amelote, what's your deal gonna be? Go there, I mean, what else? No. Fuck it, we bowl. We're just gonna roll in and wing it. I mean, let's wing it is also a plan if you think about it. And nobody noticed him from the other ships that are around. I know it's nighttime and apparently low visibility, but it's not like our snow that actually can cause even short-range low visibility. Like, you can see between those snowballs. Who was it that says calm down and wait, Yaona, huh? You're wasting perfectly good food. We're moving out. Is he gonna fall? I mean, you have the weird, like, wing thing underneath your feet, so you can always stand on it and count on nobody noticing you. Underneath, you can always, like, latch underneath the ship. You have the thing that allows you to breathe underwater, after all. Underwater. We still don't know what it is. Also, those are some big bones they're using. I wonder what creature those bones came from. The only thing that looks vaguely mammal-ish are those snow mounts. And it seems those ships have some pillar things underneath. Interesting. Stabilizers? Yeah, Amalothe doesn't like. Amalothe doesn't like it. She has honor. She's honorable. I mean, that's already been established when she was fighting with what's his face, general of the Atlantean army. Amalothe doesn't like playing dirty. Yaona. Pull him underwater? Must have been the wind. Are we gonna use the laser cutter? I wonder. They can't really do much because they will be seen from other ships, right? Or conveniently, they won't be seen. That's also a possibility. Yeah, maybe don't go exploring the ship, huh? Yaona, if you fuck it up... Use the laser cutter. Okay. I was afraid that Yaona is just gonna go down there and meet the fucking Admiral, because why wouldn't he? Convenient boat that they can use. Although it would probably be a better idea to just dive underwater and hope there's gonna be some roots that can catch you. Then again, they don't have a third rebreather. Laser cutter. Laser cutter. There we go. Increase the output. Just like that. Okay. I'm glad they remembered that they have it. Or Kaina remembered that he has it. Yeah, let's bail. Like, now. You're gonna hide under... Are you for real? You're going to hide on the very ship you freed Liliha from. That's going to be the first place they're going to search. Are you for real? I mean, it's Valgians. Yeah, they are essentially a bunch of barbarians. This sort of a behavior. I mean, it does mean war. It's not the king of Atlant that's declaring the war. Sending a dead messenger is a declaration of war. Yeah, for how long are you okay, though? You're hiding on a Valgian ship. In some... cargo bay. What if someone wants to grab a snack? Yeah, I mean... she's angry, but she's not that angry. Now worry about your survival. Yeah. You can cut open... yeah, I mean, you can cut a hole open. They didn't notice the cage being lowered. Where? Where do you find a different spot? It's a tiny little ship. They're gonna hide inside of a crate? Oh, okay. Cargo doors and a small boat. Okay, so it's gonna be relevant, actually. Creating a diversion. And count on them never going to see anything under the deck. True. The boat doesn't really have any propeller. Probably. At least they can throw the contents of that box overboard. How fun! Oh no, not quite the reaction I was hoping for. You're all dead. Yeah, he doesn't have a second hand to do that, so you need to help him. Yeah. Also, the lock was broken in a very weird way, by the way. Okay, that's actually great protocol. They're avoiding the Star Wars situation where the heroes just dressed up as stormtroopers. And they're looking through the crates. Makes perfect sense. The boat's missing. But we have a war to wage. Oh, are they gonna be stranded in Valgia? Escaping while en route to Atlant is one thing, but if they turn around back to Valgia, someone's gonna conveniently call him, or someone's gonna conveniently call him. Of course. uh, Classic. Yeah, now you are en route to Valgia, though, so... Yeah. Probably. But once you are in Valgia, you can't really do anything either, so... It's a very lose-lose kind of situation. I mean, yeah, Amalothe knows what's up. She knows not to underestimate the enemy. And she did suffer a wound at the hand of an Atlantean. Okay, at least we're gonna be able to see the thing up close. What is it made of? Wood? Wood. Yeah, okay, it's made of wood. Where did they get so much wood from? Oh, those people are Valgians. Okay, I thought it's gonna be some third party involved, but they are Valgians. Interesting. Yeah, it's made of wood. Did the theory about Valgians cutting down their orbital tree, or using the fact that their orbital tree has fallen to their to create fortress, that might be it actually. Our orbital tree has fallen, might as well just use this all newfound wood to build a fleet. The tree will no longer supply us with water, right? So all that is left is to use the wood, make a fleet, and go raid other countries for water. I think that's the origins of Valgia. Because we know that orbital trees can just fall randomly for no reason, and that countries are established on the root flares of those trees, and that there's water at the bottom and water at the top, so the tree must be pumping that water in either direction. If the tree falls, it no longer pumps water. You no longer have water. The stump becomes a desert. And when it does, what can you do? You can go to another country, maybe, transport your people there, but what are the chances the other country is going to take you in? Chances are they themselves suffer water shortages and food shortages. So what's left? Well, out of desperation, and perhaps with a warmonger of a leader, you turn all that wood, all that lumber, into a fleet, and you go attacking other countries and stealing their water. I'm actually gonna note it down. I had one theory that Valgia is using wars for population control, but Valgia's original tree fell. They used the wood to build a fleet and rob other countries of water, since a fallen tree no longer pumps/provides it. There we go, that's a long theory. Whole 3 lines in my notebook, but I have plenty more space. I mean, by the end of the season we will probably run out of the second page, but I still have more. It's still mostly unwritten notebook, like this much is taken and this much is still free, so it's gonna suffice me for a good while still. Okay, now, as always, the thing we will do is we are going to watch this episode again. Shall we? Yes, we shall. Of course we shall. We get a little bit of a backstory. Yeah. The country of Aquili. Probably not the first country Valgia has attacked, but one of the countries. Give up the nearby spire tree that Aquil controls. Our water has dried up. You're basically telling us to die. Yeah, so they're just fighting for scraps. Valgians aren't even attacking like wealthy countries that want for nothing. There isn't even any like resentment of, oh, those filthy Aqualians, they have all the water they want. They have mansions with pools in them. They have lawns. They're using water to water their lawns, for fuck's sakes, right? And we here, Valgians, are starving because our tree no longer exists. We don't have our own water. It's not even that sort of a reason. They are literally fighting for scraps. People of Aquili are dying of thirst, and they have to ration water, but at least they have a little bit of water to ration. We have absolutely nothing. It's the matter of our own survival. It's either us or them. Right? Interesting. It doesn't, like, excuse the Admiral, because he's genuinely just a warmonger. I don't know how much of his character, how much of what he does is for the benefit of people of Valgia, and how much of it is just because he likes fighting. But the people of Atlant as a whole, the people of Valgia as a whole, I can understand the need, the necessity of getting water by all means necessary. They can either roll over and die, or they can make other people roll over and die. It's a choice. And self-preservation wins over empathy. Very often. And yes, see what I mentioned? That everything is in the opening. Those crystals. I thought, oh, it's just a fun particle effect. Right? They are just ephemeral little silhouettes, and they're using those particles because they look cool. No, they're actually significant because that's what they breathe out underwater. It has to have some significance. I'm looking. I really am looking for so many things. Fire. How's fire gonna be significant? I don't know, but it's gonna be. Here we have this scene with more sparkles. The writing. I wonder what those kanji, at least the ones that are readable in this on this screen, translate to. Liliha in a cage. Yeah, Valgians are using a lot of wood. Notice how, do we see any, like, bits of Atland in the opening? I think we do. At some point. Show me some Atland. Just a little bit of Atland. No? You're not gonna. Okay, well, that's too bad. But in general, buildings in Atlant, they... Oh, there we go. They don't look like they're made of wood. They look like they're made of... I don't know what. Sap, concrete, stone, something like that. Or maybe some other type of wood, maybe driftwood, I don't know. But they are like light and smooth and whatnot. Meanwhile, you see Valgan architecture, and it's just a hodgepodge of scraps of orbital tree. Interesting. Also interesting lock. Is it made of the leg of some arthropod? Or do they actually have access to metal somehow? The cage looks like it's made of metal, so they must have access to it somehow. I mean, Amelothe's armor is clearly made of metal, and her power hand, right? It's also made of metal, and her shield, well, that could be wooden. Her sword is made of metal. Even the Admiral looks like his armor I think it's called like lamel armor, I don't know. It's the same as other Valgian soldiers. It could be very well made of chitin, of some bugs, or of bone, or something like that, or even treated leather. Amalothe somehow has the privilege of using steel, though. I wonder why. I wonder how important exactly is she. Also, the Admiral just grabbed Liliha's sword. He doesn't have, like, his sword. His significant sword that he always carries with him. He just uses Liliha's sword because it's superior to a bone club, probably. And here we have Amalothe with a fucking Daikatana. What's the deal with steel, with metal? And yeah, the Admiral is super weird. Oh, you died. That means you're an empty shell. Nothing but an empty shell. Ah ha 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 ha. What? I don't know. But he's happy that Liliha is a little bit more resilient than the Prince of Aquili. And it seems to be a way of them, for them to make the enemy surrender. From the, not grief, but like shock of seeing one of their important people just hung up in a cage. Maybe a public execution or something, right? Like, executing Liliha in a tent somewhere in the boonies wouldn't really have that effect. But when you drive her into Atland and you execute her in the plain sight of all the Atlanteans, that's gonna have an effect. They will either become reckless and just start fighting your well-prepared, well-equipped, comparatively, military, and you're just gonna wipe them all out, and it's gonna make things easy, or they will succumb to despair, and they will just give up. Win-win. Win-win. Also interesting, the guy on the right, the one with the man bun, he also is wearing regular chitin, I'm assuming chitin, armor, and he's using a bone club. And yet he's fairly high up in the ranks. His Amalothe's adjutant, he's like the right hand of, maybe not the right hand of the Admiral, but maybe his left hand. Right? And yet he still uses like super basic armor and super basic weapons, the same that the Admiral himself is using. And then you have Amalothe with full plate, with motorized full plate, and the Daikatana. I want to know what's her deal. Why is she so well equipped comparatively? Could she be from some other country? Maybe that Valgia conquered and they gave up, and Amalothe decided that I could die or I could join them, so I'd rather live. And she joined Valgia. That's why she's kind of apprehensive when it comes to the Admiral, and is giving him side eyes, and it's just like wincing at his behavior. Because she's not a Valgian, like, at heart. Maybe. She's not fully part of Valgian military. Why would the Admiral not take her gear? Well, simple, it doesn't fit him. Simple as that. And they probably don't have the technology to work on things like that. So you could risk breaking this armor, this power armor, and trying to fit into it, or you could have a loyal, we'll see how loyal, person wear it and do your bidding for you. And then they have this steel cage, or iron cage, or whatever metal cage. Is it also an artifact they found somewhere? Maybe in some sunken ruins? Along with Amelothe's armor? Was there a country somewhere that had some access to metals somehow that Valgia conquered, and they took their technology, took their forges? Was Valgia originally able of extracting iron from somewhere and forging it? We do have to remember that mining and iron ore is not the only source of iron. If you're watching Primitive Technology channel on YouTube, I highly recommend. It's an amazing channel. Just remember to turn on the captions. The guy is experimenting with smelting iron. Of course, he's not going to make a mine with just sticks and stones, but he can use clay pots to gather iron-eating bacteria from a creek and smelt that bacteria into primitive iron. Could it be something like that? One of the orbital trees just happened to have a colony of iron-eating bacteria that filtered out bits and pieces of iron, molecules of iron from the, I'm not gonna say water, but from, well, I'm gonna say water. We all know it's not water in the ocean, but it's gonna be easier if I just keep calling it water. From the water there, or perhaps from the sap that goes up the orbital tree, or something like that. Some alternative source of iron. That's why you don't see a lot of it. They're using iron for important things, like a cage for their prisoners. I mean, the most important use for it, right? Like Amelothe's armor. Maybe it's some prototype and they had just enough metal to make it, but not enough to kit out their whole military in it. I wonder what's their deal with metal. Nothing else is made of metal. Everything is just wood. Well, maybe some nails or something, but everything is just wood. Wood and chitin, it seems. Throwing food at the Liliha, it's stopped snowing. Like, even his chair is made of wooden pieces tied together with rope. It doesn't even have any nails in it. We're moving out. How did Kaina and Yaona remain unnoticed? I've no fucking clue. They're out there in the open for so long, and yet nobody noticed them. Whatever, I'm just gonna say it's a plot hole that doesn't matter much, but like, I have to notice it, right? Everything is made of bone. But another question I have, what creatures have bones like that? The big dartfish? Maybe, I don't know. Also, oh, that's their mode of transportation. That's their propellant. I was wondering what those pillars are underneath the ships. Those are oars. Those are vertical oars. And they're standing inside and oaring, right? Like this and that and this and that and this and that. It makes sense, doesn't it? Yeah, those are oars. Those are oars. I thought there's some sort of a stabilizer, but no. Huh. Huh. It's actually kind of genius when you think about it, right? Like, when you have a galley ship that has ores on the sides. You need to have some holes for those ores to come out. You can destroy those ores and immobilize the ship, right? If you get close, you could shoot the people on the inside through the ore holes, right? It's technically possible. But when the ores go down through the bottom, who's gonna damage them? Nobody. And they also don't need to worry about being able to stay in some bay on the shore, right? Like shallow water. They don't have to worry about shallow water. There is no shallow water. Maybe by the orbital trees, sure, but their home base is a floating fortress. They don't need to worry about shallows. So they can go as far down as they want. And they're using that fact. That's great. I love it. I absolutely adore world building in this series. Yeah, Amalothe really doesn't like what's going on. Oh, Amalothe is not smiling. She's not laughing. She's like, fucking barbarians. Yeah, whatever. You're right. Fucking Valgians, I swear. Right? That's the vibe I'm getting. And he's just sitting in a dump drinking, because of course. Fucking barbarian. Must have been the wind. Yeah, something's stopping this mechanism. I really was afraid that it's gonna end up with Yaona deciding to explore. And he opens the hatch and goes down there. Oh, what? Maybe there's gonna be something we could use. Maybe something that could aid us in our escape. Maybe some weapons, maybe some tools, maybe something. And then there's the Admiral just sitting there drinking, and they look at each other. I was really afraid it's gonna be such a moment. And then Kaina just unlocks the mechanism, goes down the ladder, and it's like, hey, Yaona, oh, fuck. Valgan military, huh? I was really afraid it's gonna be a moment like that Yaona is going to fuck it all up. But no, thankfully not. Like, there are bits and pieces that look like they're made of metal. Where do you get metal, though? This looks... could be metal, could be some conch, could be some piece of an arthropod. Yeah, like a piece of a leg and a piece of a leg or something. I don't know. Very organic designs. Even if something is made artificially, it's still designed in a very organic way. I like it. I really do. Laser cutter to the rescue. Just like that. Also, this is another material that we see that Atlantean weaponry is made of. They make knives of it and stuff like that. It looks like kind of vaguely like a mother of pearl. Maybe they're using some mollusk shells to make those things. I don't know. It's not metal, that's for sure. I'm sorry, Liliha. Well, at least he's a little bit like apologetic, and it at least had some effect on him. He's not entirely neutral and nonplussed about his daughter being fucking killed, right? They're a bunch of barbarians. They are. I mean, yeah, that's how barbarians behave. It's not how civilized nations wage war. Hiding underneath. Yeah, it's a shame they don't have a third rebreather. If they did have one, they could have just dived down. It seems like the roots are reach all the way down, and they lead to one orbital tree or another sooner or later. And there are air pockets inside of those roots, so they could have just warned the rebreathers, just grab their hands, cut open a hole in the ship and just jump down. They're gonna land on a route sometime, and when they do, all that's needed is just follow the routes that go up. And you reach some orbital tree, you pick your head out, oh, Atlant is that way, and then you just go to Atlant. That would have been easy. But alas, they only have 2 of those. No snowfoil bags. I wonder if that's gonna bite them in the ass. That they don't have snowfoil bags. They do have rebreathers, but not all of them. Although maybe Liliha has a snowfoil bag, we don't know that. Was it confiscated? Was it not? Cage is down, Princess is gone too. I don't know, but I wasn't told anything about that. Oh, you think it's on purpose? You think the prisoner might have escaped? Or maybe they just took her somewhere? I don't know, man. It's a tiny little ship. Where would they have taken her? Of course she escaped, somehow. I really thought they're gonna use this boat to escape, but Liliha is actually right. There are ships behind them. And the boat doesn't have anything to propel it. Maybe a pair of oars, if they're lucky. It seems it does have an oar. Is the stick at the front also an oar? Also a vertical oar that you grab onto and you push it, turn it, pull it. Turn it, push it, turn it, pull it. Is that what it is? If so, that's amazing. The consistent method of propelling their ships that seemingly evolved independently from oars on Earth. In our world, in our timeline. They figured the principle, but instead of placing oars at the sides, they placed one at the bottom. Because again, they don't have to worry about shallows. They don't have to worry about dry dock. There is no dry dock. Makes perfect sense. I love it. I absolutely adore the world building in this series, as I said many times, and as I will say many times, so you better get used to it. And we're gonna wait for an opportunity to escape. I honestly thought that he's gonna be happy about it. That he's gonna be like, oh, the Prince of the Daquilus just died without any struggle and she's escaped. Well, now that's interesting. Let's call the people and let's call the search. Let us hunt. And it cuts off on his happy face, right? Something along those lines. But no, he's pissed. Because it kind of fucks up his plans. Makes sense, but I thought he's gonna be a little more unhinged, I think is what I'm trying to say. He really gave me the impression of someone who's a little bit more unhinged than what he's showing. Also, this moment, that's great. It's both intimidating, right? Grab the sheath. What's gonna happen? We're probably gonna die, but he tells us to grab the sheath, so we grab the sheath. And it also makes sense, he doesn't have the other arm, he can't grab the sheath. I mean, if he wanted, he could have just hook it up, turn the hook a little to create friction, and you could do that, but he uses that fact to add a little bit of intimidation. And you're going against me? Yeah, you're also gonna die. Simple. Someone must have come aboard. This is great. This is amazing. I love it. They know, they realize that the prisoners could just wear their armor because it hides every inch of their bodies. So what do you do when a prisoner escapes? you have everybody take off their helmets. Duh. First thing you do. Second thing you do. You check through the boxes. Duh. Makes sense. What you don't do, though, is stop checking the boxes just because you think you know how they've escaped. They might have planted a bomb, for all you know. I mean, not in this world, I don't think they have any explosives, but, you know, in general. How do they break the lock? Well, laser cutter, simple as. Do we see anything interesting on the inside of it? Not really. Outdoor was open, the boat is gone, so we know how they escaped. They managed a rescue mission on the snow sea at night. Yeah, so Amelothe and the other ships are going to search for them, and Admiral is returning to Valgia to start war preparations. Makes sense. Kinda sucks that they are stuck on the ship, and here we see a little bit of a trope. I mean, very much of a trope. It's so incredibly common. Oh, is he going to see them? Is he going to see them? Hey, Bob, the food is here. Oh, sweet, the food is here. And just drops the lid and goes. Like, it's a trope. It is a trope. It's very much a trope. But I don't mind it. I don't mind it because I guess it gives me a little bit of like that sense of familiarity, a little, however odd doesn't it sound? Because this show is extremely unique. Very unique. It uses tropes here and there, but it's not tropey. And seeing such an obvious trope here, it just gives me that sense of, yeah, I'm watching anime, right? I'm watching some entertainment media. Tropes are a thing. It's fun. I'm having fun. It kind of takes me out of the zone a little, kind of breaks my immersion a little, but in a good way, right? Kind of reminds me to have fun, I guess would be the best way I can describe it. So I don't mind it whatsoever. Where's the ship heading? I mean, well, where else? Valgia, of course. Even if we want to escape, we can't do anything until we're in Valgia. Yeah, I guess. But how do you escape once you are in Valgia? You find a ship, you steal a ship, you steal a boat, you get in contact with Amelothe and hope that she's going to help you. Or Amelothe finds you and helps you. I don't know if I'm onto something, but a man can hope. Amelothe. Where's the accent on the first E? Amelothe finds them in Valgia and decides to help. That would be an interesting twist. I directed them to return to Valgia if they can't find them by noon. Princess and the soldiers of Atlant are not to be underestimated. She knows best. She was cut. Welcome to Valgia. How does it even float? It's just a block of wood. It looks amazing. Like, don't get me wrong. I love how imposing it looks, but still. Also, this is cool. This is a very cool moment, seeing those people. I really thought they are going to be either maybe some, I don't know, migratory is the wrong word to use it, but like traveling merchants kind of deal, where they have some ships and they travel between nations, trading with them, or maybe they are some separate nation, because they don't look like Valgians, is what I was thinking, but this is Valgian military. What we've seen so far all this time was Valgian military, strictly military, not civilians. So of course, not everybody in Valgia will be wearing armor and helmets. Of course there will be people wearing normal clothes. Duh. And this really shows it. It's kind of like a slap in the face, kind of like a wake-up call. Hey, yo, Valgians have civilians too. It's cool. Also very unique clothes. On the inside, it's still wood. More wood. And you don't really see much. It looks like a sci-fi prison block. That's for sure. You don't see any like windows on the inside or anything. Where are they living? Where are the living quarters? Where is anything? You don't even see like catwalks going on the sides or anything. They seem to be living entirely inside of the walls, and the center of Valgia is just a dock, essentially. Probably. Yeah, how are you going to escape? So this is Valgia. Indeed. How are you going to escape exactly? I've no clue. I've no clue. I genuinely have no idea how are they going to escape. I'm looking forward to it. Don't get me wrong, make no mistake, but how are they going to escape? Are they going to awaken the Ascender somehow? And those are the shots we see if people looking at the Ascender and shit, we're fucked. There's a huge ass humanoid robot that's ready to kill us all. I need to take a look at the Ascender once more though. There we go. Opening. There we go, opening. Can I even find the frame with the Ascender? That's the question. I mean, I'm calling it Ascender. Whoa, whoa, whoa. What just happened? It doesn't have to be Ascender. I'm gonna do this. And go frame by frame-ish through the opening. Because that Ascender has... I mean, again, I'm just calling it Ascender. We have no way of knowing if it actually is an Ascender. But it's missing one eye, and it has a vague moustache kind of a shape. Could it be the Admiral? And it's just an artistic rendition of him, essentially, as that metaphorically huge, imposing figure. It's not actually a huge robot. Kind of reminds me of the Mushroom anime. What was it called? I don't remember. Fuck. But yeah, there was the thing where a guy just threw himself into a Sabikui Bisco. Sabikui Bisco. Yeah, it just has the same eye is glowing as the eye that the Admiral has healthy. And it looks vaguely to be like the emerging out of the center of Valgia. Maybe, kinda, sorta. Although we see Atlanteans and Atlantean cannons. I don't know. But it kind of does remind me of Sabikui Bisco. Vague spoilers. One of the characters gets turned into a mecha. Couple of them actually get turned into like mechanoid robots like that, and yeah, maybe something along those lines. I don't know, some consciousness transferal or something. I don't know. I'm probably reaching way too far, but interesting. Okay. So that was episode 6, and I mean, what can I say? I really do enjoy this series. Do I even need to say more? It's amazing, it's great, and I hope more people give it a chance. Because it's not that popular, because it's CG. I mean, let's be honest, the one and only reason people don't watch, people didn't even give a shot to Ooyukiumi no Kaina was because they saw full CG and decided, nah. And I was just a step away from doing the same thing. Honestly. I was about to just say, yeah, no, I'm not gonna watch a CG anime. But then I read the synopsis, and I thought, shit. Doro Doro also pulled me in with the synopsis, and I knew that it's great because my friend read the manga and he recommended it to me, but I didn't start the manga, or rather, by the time I wanted to start the manga, the anime came out, so I decided to watch the anime instead. And I watched it despite being CG because of a recommendation of my friend, and I saw some panels from the manga, and they were genuinely great. And I gave it a shot, and I loved the anime despite it being CG. So thankfully, I have that experience with CG anime. That full CG anime can be good if they have a good story and good characters and good writing and good everything else. You can enjoy an anime, you can enjoy a good story despite the format it's being presented at being subpar. Because, honestly, I still would have preferred this show to be drawn, to be 2D. But I'm not particularly getting my, I don't know, toes in a twist, whatever the expression is. Probably not toes. Pants in a twist? I don't know. Over it being CG. Because it works. It's not egregious, it's not X-arm levels, it's not the Ruby anime. No, Ruby anime was actually drawn with some CG moments, but it's not Berserk, it's not X-arm. It actually looks decent. And even beautiful at times. So I'm glad I gave it a shot, is what I'm trying to say here. And it's a pity that many people didn't give it a shot, because they were put off by it being CG. But on the other hand, can you really fault people for discounting CG in anime, really? Like, sure, there are good CG anime, right? Doro Doro, Land of the Lustrous, haven't seen it, but I will one day. What else is there? Beastars, I hear it's also CG and it's also good and people like it. Ooyukiumi no Kaina would be another reason. But more often than not, CG in context of anime is synonym for shit. Like when a 2D anime uses some CG moments, CG elements, CG monsters, CG whatever, they usually look like shit. They usually don't work. It's usually a cost-saving measure. So you can't really fault people for seeing full CG and being disgusted by it from the get-go. I hope this stigma eventually passes, but for it to be dismantled and destroyed and for people to get over that stigma, I'm sorry, but anime studios need to put a little bit more budget, a little bit more care into their CG elements in their anime. They can't be releasing X-Arm. They can't be releasing Arifureta Season 1. They can't be doing those things. Because if they keep doing them, CG will never get rid of the stigma. And people will always and forever discount animes like this. And it sucks, because this one is genuinely worth watching. And I'm gonna be recommending it to people. You can be damn sure I'm gonna be. And I hope you will be recommending it as well, because it's worth watching. It's been a long time since there was an anime that I enjoyed this much, and in full. That's another aspect of it. There are anime that I enjoyed very much because great art, or because great stories, or because great characters, or because great world building. But often it was a situation where I'm watching the anime because of great world building, the other is kind of whatever, but I need to know the history of the world, so I'm watching it. Or the anime looks like complete garbage and a slideshow with sliding PNGs, but fuck, the stories they're telling are good. This pulls me in with everything. It's great on so many different levels. And I mean, right, like, I like to analyze the media I'm watching. I like to analyze the worlds. I like to analyze the stories. I like to think about those things. Even when I'm like watching movies that are one shots, one offs, I'm wondering how things work. How do things work? How do they come to be? How did creatures of that planet evolve in such a way? You're not supposed to be thinking about it, but I do. And again, this anime makes me do this after 6 episodes. 6 episodes. How can I not love it? Now, maybe a little bit more about today's episode, because I've been talking about Ooyukiumi and Kaina as a whole. I really am wondering how are they going to make their way out of Valgia. That's, I think, my biggest current concern. My biggest long-term concern, or curiosity, I guess, if you can call it that, is what's the deal with Metal? What's the deal with Amalothe? Those are my biggest questions so far. What's the biggest one so far is probably what's the deal with Amalothe? Why does she wear armor so different from the rest of Valgians? Why does she have a powered arm? Why? Why? Like, there are questions about the world as a whole, of course. How did the world come to be in the shape it's in? What's that fluid, if not water? What is the purpose of those trees? Why is the water not flowing anymore? But those are like big world planet scale questions that I have in the back of my mind, and I of course want them answered as well. But this like small and personal question I have is about Amalothe. She's such a fascinating character, both from the standpoint of her personality, because she doesn't seem aligned with what Valgans are doing, and yet she is working with them, and from the standpoint of world building. Where did she come from? Why is she wearing that armor? Where did she get it from? What's her deal? What's her shtick? She could probably just behead the Admiral without a second thought as well. I have no doubt about it. What's he gonna do? Smack her with a bone club? Not really, no. And yet she's working with them. For some reason. Maybe for the sake of her country? The Admiral made the deal with Amalothe's country that, hey, either Amalothe goes with us and helps us because she's a powerful fucking warrior, or we're going to take all of your water. We will allow you to exist as a vassal state to Valga, essentially, and we will allow you to live, but you give us your mightiest warrior that uses otherworldly god-tier technology. I wonder, and I guess that sums up this show as a whole. I wonder. There's the sense of wonder, and there's the sense of I wonder. And the mixture of the two really makes it so incredibly engaging. Okay, I think I'm just gonna stop talking right now, because I'm gonna keep spinning in circles if I keep talking any longer. But maybe you guys have something more to add, and if so, do that in the comments down below. What did you think of this episode, of my reaction, of my theories? I don't know if episode 7 is already out by the time this one airs. If it is, no spoilers, please, I beg of you, I'm gonna watch it. Make no mistake. And if you do want to talk spoilers, regardless of that, there's my Discord, link in the description, and also link here. You can click it, you can join it, and there is a channel for Ooyukiumi and Kaina where you can discuss spoilers, because you can use spoiler tags on Discord and you can't use spoiler tags on YouTube. Like this video if you liked it, dislike it if you disliked it, but tell me why so I can improve. Subscribe to the channel to be notified of future releases of not only Ooyukiumi and Kaina, but also Benriya, Saitou-san, Isekai ni Iku, also Symphogear AXZ. I think the final season, it's gonna be coming this Saturday. What else? Madoka Magica Rebellion, I'm still yet to watch it, and I will watch it. Again, trust me, I will, eventually, one day. And other shows that will be coming in the future, nearer or further, but they will be for sure. And I also stream sometimes gachas, sometimes other things. I streamed the Symphogear Symphogear AXZ concert last week, so you might want to check out the VOD. And if you want to be notified of when I stream, click the bell icon next to the subscribe button for YouTube to notify you. And if it doesn't, my Discord server will notify you, so another reason to join it. What else is there? Support the channel if you want monetarily on Patreon or Throne, for example. Links again down below in the description. On Patreon for $10 a month, you can get early access to non-seasonal shows like Symphogear, like Madoka and others, and for just $1 you get a role on the Discord and a place in the credits. And you have also Throne, where you can pitch indirectly towards my purchase of better gear, better software, stuff like that. And if you don't want to spend any money whatsoever, share my content, spread the word. It costs you absolutely nothing and helps the channel a lot regardless of that. And now, that's gonna be it from me for today. So as always, you guys do all the good stuff, and I'm gonna see you in the next one. Cheers! And here's the list of my Patreons, and you can be one of them, and you don't need to travel to Valgia to achieve that.